Welcome to the Raising Values podcast, where the traditional family talks. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify, and be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You can support the Raising Values podcast through Patreon. Phil and Gillian are behind the mic, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the Raising Values podcast. We're having a morning, apparently.
Quite some difficulties. I'm sorry.
Can I fire you?
Yes.
But you're the host. I'm just the co-host and producer.
I'm fired. I wasn't ready.
I'm firing myself from this production. She can find somebody else to do this.
You know, if this was an every episode kind of thing,
this is every episode.
That I sit down right before. You want to argue in front of everybody?
Why not? We do it all the time anyway.
No, we don't. I am off this morning a little bit, and I sat down right as the pre-roll was rolling.
And I didn't start the recorder.
So, see, it's not just me. Do you want to be fired as well?
Yeah, I already said I'm going to fire myself.
Okay, well, you're fired.
I'm fired. Okay. Bye.
See ya. Anybody want one?
New year, new co-host.
You can have him. Yeah, new year, new co-host. Anyway, good morning and welcome back. I know we missed last week and that whole thing about not knowing if it was Sunday or Monday or Tuesday or what day was it. I thought it was Saturday. So anyway, we're here for the new year. Happy New Year. And we have a show for you this morning about New Year's resolutions and whatever those are. And so I picked out a couple of things that have come across my feed in the last maybe month of what people are doing and what their hopes are for the New Year's and everything. And I kind of just wanted to talk about what our goals are for the new year and talk about those things, those memes that I've been seeing. So
before we do, though.
Oh, okay.
Do we have any New Year's resolutions?
So as you'll see from the little memes that I'm going to read out, I don't want to call them a resolution because I'm already doing some of the things that we're doing. I want to focus on my health in the new year, and I want to lose 40 more pounds. I want to keep walking and actually do the weights and core training that we've started that we like to, for some reason, when we walk, we don't make an excuse. Like, it's cold, too bad, suck it up, we're going for a walk. When it's raining sometimes, if it's not raining too hard, too bad, suck it up, we're going for a walk. But whenever we get to the core, where we're doing the sit-ups and the push-ups or planks or whatever we're doing, there's always an excuse. Oh, I've already eaten. Or, oh, I'm just too tired. Or we get home and we just forget about it and then we don't do it. And so it kind of just rolls off. But so I want to make sure that that is something that we are dedicated to in the new year. We have not been dedicated to that.
It's been the holidays.
Again, an excuse. It's been the holidays.
Okay.
So
you've also been off diet for 2 weeks. We both have been. It's been the holidays, babe. Like, live it up. Enjoy it.
Obviously, I've lived it up and enjoyed it because, it was not pretty. I haven't felt good. I felt very sluggish and not, I don't know. I just haven't felt good during the holidays. And I think that's a very good reminder of living it up too much is too much. And so I don't want to live it up every day, all day. When I sat down and said, no more sweets. I'm done with sweets. I don't want to eat another cookie, another chocolate, whatever, anything. I don't want to do any of that anymore.
Well, there is a small school of thought out there that believes that the reason why we have cold and flu season is actually because this is the time of year where we're spending less time outside, we're getting less sunlight because the days are shorter, and we're eating tons of sugar, which is leading to more inflammation.
Yeah.
So, no, I agree with you, though. I mean, like, it's an interesting thing because, like, I've always said I refuse to be on a diet that you can't cheat or you can't break, because I'm not going to be that person that says, sorry, I can't come to Thanksgiving, I'm on a diet. That's stupid. But I will happily say that, yeah, after a couple of days of eating really, really bad, I mean, we came home from Christmas and I was like, God, I just want to eat like a couple of fried eggs and some sausage and bacon, and just I wanted to be back on my normal diet because my body was just screaming, stop putting this stuff in me and give me what I wanted.
And see, the hard thing of using that whole, well, it's the holidays, live it up kind of thing. Holidays in South Louisiana start in Thanksgiving and they don't end until April. Because we have Thanksgiving, Christmas, Mardi Gras, which is a king cake every single week. You know, a new king cake every single week. Sometimes every other day there's a new king cake at the office or wherever. And of course, I love king cake. I love a specific type of king cake.
Dumbong.
Yeah. And so then you have that. Then you have crawfish season, and then you are outside more. But now you're eating crawfish and salty crawfish every weekend or every other weekend, or, there's always some sort of new festival, or Louisianians never have a bad excuse to eat. It's such and such, live it up. It's such and such, live it up. It's, this festival, live it up. And I think that is dangerous. I think it's very dangerous. But I'm really proud of myself for saying, yeah, I'll live it up. Okay, sure, I'll have that. But then that also means that I don't have this later. You know what I'm saying? So,
Moderation.
moderation. So there's that. So there's the focus on health and the focus on finishing what I've started. And maybe not even finishing, but ramping up what I've started. And then there's this whole other aspect, and it does kind of play into exercising and making sure that I'm eating better and things like that. And it is, and there's a couple of memes on here that are just like perfect. And I was like, oh, that's so me. That is just so me. When we started this whole transition into health, it's been about 7 or 8 months now. June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Oh, okay, so 6 months. When we started this whole transition into health, I also started to transition into guarding my energy. And I've talked about this time and time and time and time again. And I'm sure people out there listening are so tired of hearing about Gillian's energy and Gillian, what she's doing with her energy and what this person has done to her energy and how she's going to recoup her energy and all that stuff. I just think it is beyond important to focus on energy. And that's all I'm going to say, because a lot of these memes, I'm going to get into it and kind of explain more of what I'm trying to say. So there are some things that, yes, I'm going to focus on in this new year. And I think there's a huge change in me that has already started that I'm going to continue to feed that fire. I'm so fired up for it. And I guess, the other thing was I went to the doctor this last week because it was my 6-month checkup, which also correlates with a lot of the changes that I've made in my life. And my own doctor asked me, what are your health goals? Like, what are your goals for the new year? And first off, I was shocked. I was like, a doctor's never asked me what are my goals. Like, you have goals? Like, you're not just trying to pump me full of prescriptions and, whatever. I love my new doctor. But she's very much I would say they're all very much in this practice a health conscious, not pharmaceutical conscious. Like, so it got me thinking about a lot of that. And then that's when I was like, yeah, let's do a goals and resolutions episode for the new year.
Yeah.
Do you have anything?
Well, to me, like, I look at New Year's resolutions as you should already be on a pathway towards some kind of goal. Like, I don't think that's something that starts at New Year's. I think of New Year's as a time to kind of assess the journey I'm on, where I've come from, what progress I've made, and what progress I've left to make. So to me, I kind of cast off the idea that when a person says, new year, new me, I'm like, it shouldn't be a new you, though. It should be another step down the path to becoming the person you wanted to be that you should have been working on for the last 12 months anyway. I guess what I'm saying is, like, to me, a New Year's resolution is this is the next step to becoming who I want to be. But I don't believe the New Year's resolutions are this moment for like this huge transformative change where like, okay, today's the day I'm going to get my stuff together and finally make a change. Because to me, it's like that's why so many New Year's resolutions fail with it by the middle of February. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the difference between I'm going on this diet to lose 10 pounds for bikini season and I am making a fundamental change in my lifestyle forever. So I guess that's kind of the way I look at it. And I do have a couple of goals for 2024, but they're goals that, like, if they don't happen in 2024, they're going to happen in 2025, or they're going to happen in 2026. They're going to happen as time, money, and everything else is available for them. They're things that are on my trajectory no matter what. It's just a question of when do I get there. It's like we were talking last night about wanting to purchase some land eventually, so that we have a place to use as a private campground. We have a place to use eventually to build a house on. We have a place that we can use for whatever we want to use it for. Is that something that happens next year? Not likely. Is it something that happens the year after that? A little bit more likely. But sooner or later along our path, that's going to happen. So I guess that's my outlook on New Year's resolutions. It's like, to me, a New Year's resolution is a chance to say, this is the next step down the path I'm going to take. But if what you're trying to do with the New Year's resolution is say, I am completely changing my path, then my immediate question is going to be, why didn't you change your path last week or the last month or previously? Like, if you knew you weren't on the path you want to be on, why didn't you make that change then? Because that's always been me, is once I realize I'm not where I want to be, okay, let's change something. Let's get where we want to be. Do the work, make the change, make the commitment.
I think it's easy in the new year because I know I'm not the only one, but you start to see right after Christmas, almost like at 5 p.m. on Christmas Day, you start to see all of the ads for the gym memberships and this diet fad and this diet book and this diet podcast and this whatever. And you start to see all that, and then you start to get caught up in it. And I do think that there is sincere excitement with people wanting to change and getting caught up in that excitement. And then in the new year, they're gung-ho, and they're gung-ho for a week. I mean, it's statistically proven that gym memberships go up and then fall out within the first 3 weeks of the new year. There
is a reason why gym memberships in January, or at the end of December, the beginning of January, offer discounted rates for a full year if you pay up front. Because they know those gyms are going to be full in January, and by about the middle of February, they got your money. It's too late to get it back. Yeah. I hate to say it that way, but like...
Well, it's just smart marketing, and it's a smart business scheme.
Oh, yeah, it's smart business. But I guess what I'm saying is, like, it's unfortunate it works out that way, but history's pretty telling.
Yeah.
So...
I don't know. I think for me, it has been... it hasn't been the easiest. I don't always want to go work out. I don't always want to just not eat the cake. Although what has helped me, and I know it's helped you and Piper to an extent, is when you stop eating all that crud, you don't crave the crud. And so it's been very easy for me to not order a Coke at dinner when we go out to eat. It's very easy for me to not order the dessert after dinner or whatever. And it is, honestly, it's gotten a little bit easier, not a lot, because I do like to go out to eat. It has gotten easier to say, no, we're just going to cook at home tonight, And a lot of that for me is because I can control my portion sizes. I'm not intimidated, or not intimidated, that's not the right word. I'm not, what is the word?
You don't feel the pressure of, I've got to eat all this?
Well, yeah, like I've got to eat this whole plate. Or even like my favorite, when we go out for Mexican food and I get the fajitas can last me for 3 days. But the thing that I have found out with eating out is, as long as I'm eating that, so I've eaten that for dinner, now I'm going to be bloated the next day. Like I'm going to be water retention whatever. And so I don't want to eat that the next 2 days because that's going to just continue on through the week. And then I'm going to get upset because I've done this to myself, but it's so delicious, blah, blah, blah. So you go back and forth, and I get that. But I have been better, I feel like, about saying, let's not go out to eat. No, I don't want the dessert. And no, I'm just going to drink the water. So I do live it up. It's not like I'm just totally depriving myself. I think if I was depriving myself and not living it up, then I wouldn't have made it 6, almost 7 months with this whole lifestyle change. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's why it's a lifestyle change. You know?
And then Christmas is just, Christmas is not a speed bump. Santa has laid down on the damn road, and we can't get over this log. Like, that is the one reason why I'm ready for the holidays to be over with. Like, I really just want to throw everything in our kitchen away. Like, I'm done with it. Like, and then this guy here stuffs my stocking with chocolates and chocolates and chocolates. So I have to eat them.
No, you don't. Take them to work.
But they're going to sit there for another week.
So take them to work.
I don't go to work for another week.
That's fine. Put them up, and we'll all quit eating them and take them to work. Feed them to all your coworkers. Yeesh, I won't give you any stocking stuffers ever again.
That's not true. Yes, you will.
Anyway, on to all of the New Year's resolutions you sent
so
me.
for a lot of these, they're going to look and sound the same for some of them. But some of them are just like, some of them are funny. All right, so this one says start and start now. A month from now, you will either have a month of progress or a month of excuses and of why you didn't. And I thought that was like, duh, like that's kind of like what we've been talking about is someone had said to me when we first started working out, or I had read it somewhere, I don't remember. But anyway, someone had said in 6 months, you will either have seen the results of the progress that you've made, or you'll have 6 more months of saying, I should have started. I should have started 6 months ago. I should have done this. All the excuses. So I thought that was a good one to start off with, was to start and start now. And then just keep going. And, we take it day by day. If it's raining outside hardcore, then no, we're not going to go walking. But I've been really good that if we can't go outside and walk, then I'll get on the bike in the bedroom and watch a show or whatever. But start now. And then that's not just for exercising and dieting. That's for anything. That's starting a new business. That's starting a new hobby. That's picking up a book that you haven't read a book in 10 years, which was where I was last year. I hadn't read a book in so long, and now I've chewed through half a library because I just remembered the passion that I had for reading books. So start now. So that was my first one.
And this is also something we talk about in the preparedness community a lot, because I think a lot of people, no matter what their journey is, no matter what their lifestyle changes, they get hyper focused on, this is the goal, and it's so far away, and it's going to take forever. It takes so much money, so much time, so much effort. I'm never going to get there, so why try? And then people like me point out to them that, most of the, losing 40 pounds has been the culmination of 6 months of consistent effort on your behalf. Losing 30 pounds has been the culmination of 6 months of effort on my behalf. It doesn't happen in a week. You have to grind it out for 6 months to get those results. And looking at our journey into preparedness, where we're at today, where we're never going to be where I want us to be. That goal has no end. But I feel like our position is pretty well shored up, but it's been 7 years. It's been 7 years of work and, saving and prioritizing and putting things away and building things and learning what not to do. So I always point out to people, I'm like, if you start today, no matter what your goal is, like you said, in 6 months, you're either going to be 6 months further down the road, or you're going to be right where you started today if you don't do anything.
Yeah.
So it is never a function of, I'm never going to lose 100 pounds. Well, you might, but it might take a couple of years. But the goal is that if you sit there and you keep making excuses, you will never do it. But if you do it now, then in 6 months, you'll be 6 months closer to your goal. So would you rather be 6 months closer to your goal or 6 months of excuses to this point?
Yeah.
It's very pointed.
Yeah. And yeah. Okay, so this one's totally me.
Oh yes.
I read this and I was
totally-
like, oh my God, I have to include this. In 2024, you need to be girl mossing, not bossing.
I don't know what girl mossing is. Can you?
Hang on.
Okay.
You need to be girl resting, girl lounging and reading thick books, savoring your food, going on long walks, spending hours watching wildlife, sipping your coffee, girl laying down on the floor of the forest and slowly being absorbed by nature. That's me. I want to be that girl in 2024. Girl mossing. Like, you're just slowly growing. You're slowly becoming yourself. You're slowly like becoming yourself and figuring out who you are and not pushing that whole I don't know who I am. I need to know who I am because society says I need to know who I am and I have to find myself in this. There's this like this craziness of having to find out who you are. It took all of my 30s to figure out where I am right now at 39, almost 40. Like, I spent 10 years trying to figure out who Gillian is and what was important to me. And it wasn't until within the last maybe 2 years that I have like chiseled it away so much that I have figured out this is who I am. This is what I stand for. These are the things that are important to me. And these are the things that I'm going to focus on. It doesn't happen overnight. And moss doesn't grow overnight. That's what girl mossing is. That's what it means to me, is just take the time to be okay with not knowing and being okay with growing slowly. So anyway, I want to be the girl that lays down on the forest floor and slowly gets absorbed by nature.
And to me, what I take away from this is that in modern society moves so quickly. It's so high demand. It requires so much attention. There's so much to do. I feel like we have lost that ability to some degree to just like take a deep breath, slow down, disconnect, and relax, and allow ourselves to enjoy the world around us, and allow ourselves the ability to grow at our own pace, not the pace that modern society is demanding. It kind of goes back to a conversation we had years ago about intentionally limiting Piper's extracurricular activities because we didn't want to be one of those families that had to go straight from school, straight to band, straight to drama, straight to this, that, and the other, and then we get home at 10 o'clock at night, nobody's eating, we're all exhausted. We didn't spend any time together as a family. It was event.
Yeah.
And it's also a lot of the same reason why you and I have, to a large degree, tailored our careers the way we have. Like, we've prioritized time with the family, and we've prioritized having the ability to slow down because we feel like that's more conducive to our emotional and mental health.
Yeah.
So this is exactly what I tell people all the time when I tell them that, like, my happy place is in a lawn chair in the woods smoking a cigar by myself. But this is why I tell them that is my happy place, because it's quiet. There's no cell phones. There's no honking horns. There's nothing. It's just peace. It's quiet. It's the ability for me to let my brain relax. And I think that is desperately needed by everybody. And if you don't think you need it worse than everybody else.
I believe that there's a movement of that change. I think the millennials, the older millennials like us, are leading that charge. I think in the 80s is when, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but in the 80s is when you started to see women really entering the workforce, and you started to see this go, like we have to work 9 to 5, Dolly Parton, all that stuff. And it continued. Like, I can remember in the 90s, neither of my parents were home. We were, what was it called? Latchkey
kids. We
were latchkey kids. We had getting off the bus or, being dropped off at the house or whatever. Both parents were at work. My older sister took care of us, and or she went to her room and we kind of just fended for ourselves.
She was there to make sure the house didn't catch fire.
Yeah, sure. No, she did a good job. She did okay. I'm alive. I'm almost 40, so my sister did pretty good. But you know what a latchkey kid is, and so I feel like our parents were never there because they were under that pressure of go, go, go. A lot of things contributed to that, and why women entered the workforce the way that they did, and why families evolved the way that they did, and I understand that. But I think what we're seeing now is those early millennials, those Gen Xers, living that life of being alone and raising themselves, and this go get 'em, go always go atmosphere that they grew up in, that we grew up in. And we don't want that. We want to slow down. And so I think we're seeing our generation is saying, hold on, why? Why are we doing this to ourselves? I saw what it did to my parents. I saw what it did to our family. I saw the stress that was involved in this constantly going mentality. I don't want that. And I think that's what a lot of people are saying. And so this is not just girl mossing and, girl resting and all that stuff. It's just it's just
People.
People, yeah. Okay, wait. Can we catch up really quick on the comments? Because I saw something about goats.
Where did you see something about goats? New goals, not resolutions, maybe?
Oh, maybe so. I thought I saw goats. Sorry.
No. But that is kind of what I was saying earlier,
Yeah.
Joe. To me, it's like a New Year's resolution to me is never going to be anything that's grossly off of the path I've already set for myself. Because if it was, then I should have already changed course. It's just, what do I think the next step down this path is? And like I've personally said that for 2024, I really want to get myself back into a firearms training course or two. Because the last time I had a professional teaching me how to do anything with a rifle or a handgun, I was still in uniform. It's been a hot minute. It's not that I don't know how. It's just the fact that I think it's time for a reassessment.
Yeah.
Now, is that an unattainable goal for 2024? No. It's just it is something on my path I need to get to.
Yeah. All right. I think the next one might be similar. I can't remember all the ones I sent you. Oh, no. This one. Next year is so personal. I think this one was the best one. It's 5 words, and it is the biggest impact. Next year is so personal. Like, I am not focusing on what other people think, what other people are doing, unless it directly impacts me. This is such a personal year for me. I'm turning 40 in 3 weeks, and I feel like I'm at a point now in my life where I'm finally that person that I've always wanted to be. Like, I've always envied those women that are always like, screw you and what you think about me, screw you and what you think about this, or whatever. I've always envied those women that can just stand up and say, no, just no. And I've never been that person. I have always been a people pleaser, and I've always been that person that doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't like confrontation. I don't think I'll ever like confrontation, no matter how much of a backbone I, build in myself. But I just think that this year has to be a focus on myself. I've already started that focus, and I feel like I'm in a good place to really dig down deep and be like, that's it. This is me. This is my year. This is not your year. Not you, but this is not your year. You don't get to take from me what I'm not going to give to you.
Yeah. And I read this completely differently. Shock.
Oh, see, good. That's why I wanted to do this.
See, to me, I look at this as, the last several years, not just us as a family, but this entire society has taken some pretty solid hits on the chin. You know what I'm saying? There's been a lot of things go on that have really tested their faith, tested their resolution, tested their finances.
It's been a hard year for a lot of people.
It's been a hard couple of years.
True.
So I look at 2024, and I look at when Pastor West says next year is so personal, I take it in the guise of it's time. It's our time. It's time for payback.
Okay.
So to me, it's
I see
like
that.
2024 is the year where we stop taking it on the chin and we start getting things back on our track on our terms.
You
Stop.
mean like as a society and
I mean,
politically and all that?
I mean, in whatever way a person chooses to take it. Like for like I admit I am developed the longer time goes on as far as politics. Since you brought that up, I'm developing a very almost nihilistic viewpoint of it. Like it really doesn't matter who gets voted into power; it's going to suck no matter what.
Yeah, true.
If voting mattered, they wouldn't let us do it. But all that being beside the point, to me, it's more of I'm going to focus on my family. I'm going to focus on what we need to do so that we're where we need to be. I'm going to focus on our finances, on our health, on our preparedness. This is the year that we stop responding to what the world is throwing at us and we start saying, no, this is what I'm going to do and preempt whatever the next manufacturing emergency is. Mm-hmm. But I do agree with you about like at a certain point you have to kind of dig your heels in and say what's my priority here? Like I simultaneously love and have been internally frustrated by you being a people pleaser. Because on the one,
That's just who I am, though.
True, but that's why I say I love it about you because I think I see where it comes from, but I also see that there have been times where you drove yourself bat crap crazy trying to make somebody else happy. Mm-hmm. And my point of view has always been like, like I organize everyone in my life in a hierarchy, and some of those people in my hierarchy are above me as far as people I prioritize. I prioritize people above myself. But if like this person down here wants to be made happy and this person up here wants to be made happy, this person's going to win and this person down here doesn't. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's always been my point of view. And I think where you've struggled is that like you put almost everyone above yourself for years. So that if Gillian had to be miserable so the other person was happy, that's just what happened. And I think what you finally have started to do is you realize that Gillian has to be further up the scale. Mm-hmm. Don't know about the top of the scale. That's up to you. But like, you and Piper are above me on my scale. Always will be.
I think you and Piper are above me on my scale too. I don't think I've ever been at the top, and unless is yours fluid? Does yours change? Does your scale change depending on the situation?
No.
You never want to make yourself happy?
It's not that I never want to make myself happy, but if I have to make myself happy at the expense of someone that's further up the scale than me, it's not going to happen.
But you just said that the only people that are above you on the scale are me and Piper.
Yes.
So we never trump you. I mean, you never trump us.
I don't think so.
Never. You never do something that's just for yourself.
But you're not hearing what I'm saying. If I do something that makes me happy and it has no effect on y'all, then that's not taking anything from y'all.
No.
But what I'm saying is if I have to prioritize, like I can do one thing and it can make you happy or me happy, I'm going to do the thing that makes you happy, and I'm going to skip myself.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Think of it like you're at the grocery store, you're on the aisle, you're purchasing stuff. If I'm going to purchase this or this, and I only have so much money, what am I going to prioritize? And that's kind of the way I prioritize that kind of thing. Whether it's time, money, energy, anything else, it's always going to be, if I have a limited amount to give, it's going to go to you and Piper first, then me, and then everybody else down the road.
I get it. I don't know what explanation you give that Valerie loves so much. It was probably something that when you said it, I was like, ooh, that's really good. It should go on a shirt. Go up some. There were some other ones. Yes, Valerie, we do need to hang out more. It's just that you're 2.5 hours away. So, and yeah.
It's not even the 2.5 hours away. No offense. It's 2.5 hours on the other side of Baton Rouge.
It's an hour on the other side of Baton Rouge.
No, but my point is, if it was 2.5 hours from here east, wouldn't be a problem. It's the fact that to get to you involves going over Baton Rouge, and I kind of wish that the whole city of Baton Rouge would fall into a sinkhole.
And we won't talk finances today, Joe. I don't think that that's what this show should be about. So yeah, and we've already seen everything up there.
And Joe, I've got to put tires on my truck in the
we
next
were
couple.
just talking about that.
Oh Jesus
Yeah.
Christ! Truck tires are one of the more financially crippling regular expenses that people have to go through, and it's never fun.
Yeah. His scale won't change. Oh, I get it. The hierarchy. Can you bring up Baton Rouge? Graham some? This is another yes. Ugh.
And actually, Joe, no, I can't see that. You're still at the top of my scale. Piper's right behind you on my scale. If I end up with a son-in-law, his happiness is his problem.
Yeah. That's right. Okay, what's the next one? We probably don't need to go through all of these. I gave you so many.
Well, I mean, we got 25 minutes, so we got plenty of time.
Okay, so this is the energy one, or one of the energy one. 2024 is almost here. Carefully choose who and what gets your time and energy. Be ready to make difficult choices and changes that move you forward. Stepping up means stepping away from certain people, relationships, habits, beliefs, and environments. It's so good. It's like so good. There are probably two, maybe three. I can think of two right off the top of my head that are in a box in my little brain. They're in a box, and these people never get the full me. They never get the authentic me. They get the everything is good. We're all doing great. Nothing is weird. Nothing is strange. Nobody's sick. Life is wonderful. Phil's job is great. My job is great. Piper's a straight A student. Everything is positive and wonderful and flowery and fluffy and just wonderful. Rainbows and unicorns. And
Rainbows and unicorns.
That's what it will always be for them. There will never be a negative. There will never be anything even slightly not positive, because these people will grasp onto that, hold onto it, chew it around and whatever, and that is what they're going to be hyper focused on in my life. They will never be hyper focused on the positive, and I have learned that. It's kind of funny. I test people sometimes. I test them to kind of see where they're going to fall and what they're going to do, and the actions that they take once I tell them something or do something or whatever. And it's very sad to watch people fail miserably at that. Give them something positive and there's no response. Give them something negative to hold on to, and it is all they can fixate on for a while, or that's all they're going to comment on in the conversation. Give them something that's just about them. Like start talking about them, or start talking about, and that's a lot of what I do is just turn the focus away from me, because I know their narcissistic behavior wants to talk about them. Mm-hmm. And so,
well, and they're also gossipers.
Yes.
And so whatever you give them is not a genuine, I want to know how you're doing. It is, what juicy morsels can you give me that I can use for attention?
Yeah, that I can then spread up the chain to whomever. So when we talk about, when this one says stepping away from people stepping away from certain people, relationships, habits, beliefs, and environments, for some people, it's going to be a relationship has ended with me. Or it's going to be, you only get me when I want to give you something. Or you are now in this box where, sure, I can be a friend with you, or I can be nice and cordial and all that stuff, but you're never going to get the authentic me. You're always going to get everything is wonderful and unicorns and puppy dogs and rainbows. That is all you will ever get from me.
They're going to get the version of you that you can give them without sacrificing yourself.
They're also going to get the version of me that is me. You know what I'm saying? You've asked me how I'm doing. I'm going to tell you how I'm doing. I'm not going to reverse it on people anymore and be like, well, so tell me about this, or tell me about that, or, I think I'm just so done dealing with narcissistic behavior in my life. And my sister-in-law said something last night, and it was just kind of like, oh, why'd you have to just speak that into existence? I love her to death. But it's so true. Empaths like myself Is that what she said? Empath?
Yes.
Empaths like myself attract narcissists. And as soon as she said that, I started like ticking off people in my life. It's like, yes, she's a narcissist. Yes, she's a narcissist. She's also a narcissist. This one's a narcissist. Like, damn it. Like, why? I get it. I get why. Because it goes back to the whole people pleasing and being, wanting to make sure everyone's emotions are taken care of and everything else, and putting myself further down on that hierarchy list. But
At least you didn't marry one.
no, well, thank God I didn't marry one. But yeah, so I'm either going to be removing them from
Stewart.
I'm either going to be removing those people completely from my life, or there's going to be a box that is set aside for them. And I can think of quite a few people that are going to go in that box.
Hang on, I might have to full screen some of these so we can read them.
Okay, this was, I really wanted to put this one up there because I thought, rather than saying it's a New Year's resolution, let's focus on some things. Reading more books, checking in on friends, find ways to reach out to your community. I'm going to stop there for a second. I thought it was important to say that because I've always really wanted Piper to have some sort of foothold in what goes on in her community and the people that are here, people that are struggling, even if it's like at the pound, the dogs and the cats and things like that. And that was one reason why I was so gung-ho about her doing a summer camp at the SPCA a couple of years ago, so that she could see what it's like to struggle to take care of these animals and all that stuff. So anyway, screen-free days. Oh, I forgot one. Continuing and finding new hobbies. Screen-free days, that is going to be a focus for me. I'm loving that I have found my books again, because it means that I'm not on my phone all the time. I'm not looking at the screen all the time. Having FaceTime dates with friends near and far. Getting enough sleep. God, I can't tell you how much that improves your life, is just sleeping. Moving your body for 30 minutes a day and drinking more water.
I mean,
I need water now.
It just sounds to me like prioritizing your mental and emotional and physical health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It's that bringing that focus back to yourself. So.
Yeah, and don't discount the fact that if you don't take care of your physical health, your mental health follows shortly behind.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just me, but 2023 revealed the true character of some people. Some aren't coming with me in 2024. Again, I said that in the one before this one. There's going to be a reprioritization of friends and family in 2024. And I'm not waiting for tomorrow. Like that whole list has changed. People on that list have been shuffled around, and I'm actually up higher on that list. So I know.
High five.
Now I just got to work to keep it there.
And see, for me, like, this has been something that's been happening for years with me. Mm-hmm. And I'm a firm believer in, you don't really know who a person is until they're at their lowest. When they're scared, when they're worried, when they're beat down, when they're at the point of breaking, that's when you really find out who a person is. And I feel like over the last several years, I've had a chance to look at a lot of people in my life, and I've seen very clearly now who they are. Mm-hmm. They have shown me their true colors, and some have attempted since then to kind of like come back into my life, and they're not allowed. Because my point of view is like, no, I saw who you are when things get really bad. When things got really bad, me and Piper banded together. And we prioritized ourselves. We prioritized, learning to relax, learning to unwind, caring for ourselves emotionally. Like, we did the work to make sure that our family was able to get through hard times, and it didn't really bother us that bad. I mean, the day after Hurricane Ida is the greatest example I always use, because our daughter was flying a kite in the front yard. You and I, we had a lot of problems to deal with. But we weren't fighting with each other. We weren't freaking out. We didn't lose our cool. We just said, wow, we got a lot of work to do. And we just started doing it.
It was more like, oh my God, we have a lot of work to do.
There might have been some tears involved, but my point is that, I looked around at the community around us, and there were a lot of people that they threw the white flag up and they left town.
Yeah, our neighbors were like, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with these trees. I'm not dealing with my house. I'm leaving.
Yeah, and there were a lot of people, they were packing up and leaving while we were
trees.
While we were cutting trees.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad at them for that, but the thing I said right after Hurricane Ida was, these people have all shown me exactly who they are.
I do
So
have
I'm gonna
to say,
that.
on the note of just leaving, you're not going to like this. We don't know what their stress level was at that point. We don't know if it was just so overwhelming for them that they could not bear the thought of having to deal with everything physically at their house and not having electricity, and then having to deal with the emotional aspect of my car's been crushed, my house has been crushed, and that was it for them. Their brain shut off and said, I need something. I need to get out of here. I need to see something beautiful, something that's not a total wreckage. So on one hand, yes, it was hard because our neighbors all left and we were here. Not all of them, but one of them stayed. We were here picking up the pieces in what felt like a lot, not just for us, but for our neighbors as well, because the trees that had fallen, they were on our property and their property and, all that stuff. But on the other hand, I want to give them grace because I've been in such a situation where it's so overwhelming emotionally that I need to just check out. And if checking out means I need to go to the beach for 3 days, and I'm not just saying I'm saying that because that's what happened. They left, they went to the beach. If that's what I need to do, then I think that needs to be allowed. Like, I don't want to see, this is where you and me differ so much. I don't want someone to feel bad for themselves or bad about their decision to need to check out. Because there's so many times in my life where I've needed to just check out. And the last thing I need is for someone to judge me because I was prioritizing my mental health.
And don't misunderstand, I don't care if they checked out or not. I don't care if they went to the beach. But the end result is the same. I know I can't depend on them if things happen here. They will leave. Mm-hmm. That is, I guess, my point, is the why, their stress level, their own individual mental health, that's something they have to make an assessment on. They're grown adults. But it does confirm that the end result is when things get really bad, you and me and that little girl in there are going to have to suck it up and deal with it by ourselves because we can't depend on any of these people.
No,
they won't be here.
I understand that.
That's all I'm saying. So,
but there are people that will be there. We had people that drove 5 hours to be there.
Yep. And by the same token, after Hurricane Ida, I mean, we had people that I only know semi-casually through this podcast that live, 2 towns over, about 25 minutes down the road, and I literally was getting messages saying, hey, I've got my yard cleaned up. Do you need help? Mm-hmm. Or, hey, we don't have power either. We're not in a great situation either. But do you need fuel? Do you need me to tell you where there's a gas station open? We were having communication with people mm-hmm. in the area that that we know through the preparedness world, and that tells me it's okay, these are the people I can rely on to suck it up when things get bad. These are the people who are either going to cave in on themselves or they're going to run, and they're just not going to be there. And I thought you had a plan to bail to family in North LA. Isn't that the same thing? Yeah, Stuart, but I guess what I'm saying is I'm using Hurricane Ida as an example of when things get really harsh. I've seen people have shown me who they are, and I know who I can depend on and who I can't. Or better yet, I know what behavior I can depend on them for.
Okay.
Think about during COVID, the people who were trying to watch out for their neighbors, and the people who were acting like morons. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay. Okay, yeah, this one was totally for me. I just think there's some things women shouldn't wear, like the weight of other people's expectations and judgments. I don't think it's just women. I mean, obviously, a lot of these are going to be geared towards girl and women because that's what I am. But stop. I do think it's important because I was talking to someone the other day about how I no longer care what someone's expectation of me is or what their judgment of me is. I say that. And then to some extent, I'm always like thinking about, what are they saying about me or whatever. But anyway, I think it's a good goal to have of not wearing the weight of other people's expectations and judgments. Yeah.
I just say to hell with people. I'm going to be me.
No. I'm not there yet.
But that applies to everybody except you. Your opinion of me matters to me.
Yeah.
Like
okay.
This has always been the way I've arranged my life. How much I care about your opinion of me is directly proportionate to how important you are in my life. So, like, random passerby on the street, couldn't care less, don't know who they are. They're not going to be in my life for more than about the 7 seconds it takes us to walk by each other. Mm-hmm. Don't care. The people who I want to spend the rest of my life with, their opinion matters a lot. Because I hope you're going to be here for a while.
Same.
Okay, two more.
All right. There's this one that this is kind of like my wish for you from Raising Values for the new year. And then there's one more after this that I just was like, that's awesome. All right, blessings for the new year. This is, remember, from Raising Values. May your Wi-Fi signal be strong. May your snacks be plentiful. May coffee never burn your tongue. May dogs smile upon you. May cats always choose your lap, unless you're allergic. May your houseplants thrive, and may your naps be always refreshing. But above all else, may you be healthy, happy, and unburdened by fuckery. I love it so much. I do wish all those things for my friends and family. I really do. For the new year, those are real blessings that I saw, and I was like, I love it. And then the next one says, it's probably not as funny. I hope 2024 is filled with everything you deserve.
Yes.
That may not be a good or a bad thing for you.
It's always a good thing from my perspective. Karma.
Well, yes, but I hope 2024 is filled with everything you deserve. I mean that one so much for so many people. It's like saying, I hope you have the day you deserve. I hope you have the whatever you deserve. Because some people don't deserve the good. And that goes against everything that just goes against everything I'm about in my life. People deserve good. They do deserve second chances. They do deserve to be treated fairly and kind and everything else. And, it's something that we always tell Piper is that you don't have to be best friends with anybody. You don't have to be friends with everybody, but you do have to be kind. And so, I don't know. I do hope people have the year that they deserve. I don't know where else to go with that.
I'm going to be the polar opposite.
What?
I believe that people deserve what they create for themselves. Mm-hmm. I'm that person that says I don't believe that on a long enough timeline anything is the result of luck. Anything is a result of chance. I think that where a person winds up in their life or in this next year or whatever is the end result of a series of decisions they have made.
Absolutely.
Now, this is not to say that chance or luck or whatever doesn't have an influence or can't tip the scales one way or the other, but it is to say that, if you spend your entire life eating junk food with, crazy high blood sugar, you end up insulin resistant, type 2 diabetic in your old age, no one says, oh, how unlucky. Everybody said, most reasonable people would say, well, you did it to yourself. You ate like crap your whole life. You did this to you. If you look at a person who is broke, and it's because they spent all their money, then that nobody says, oh, it sucks that you're broke. It's like, no, you spent all your money. You did this to you.
Yeah.
As opposed to a person who like religiously saves and scrimps and tries to control their budget and just has a stroke of bad luck. That's when a person says, oh, it's unfortunate that happened to you. But it's a rarer event that a person who does everything right doesn't come out on top because of one twist of fate. Usually it's the twist of fate that tips the scale one way or the other, but it's the person who put the weight in the scale that put themselves there.
Yeah.
So yes, I say, I hope 2024 is everything you deserve. Just understand that what you deserve is directly caused by what you create. So if you want good outcome, you have to do good work. If you want good behavior out of the people around you, you have to demand that good behavior. If you want, whatever you want in your life, you have to come to an understanding that you have the ability to create that for yourself, and you have to go for it, and you have to do the work, and let this day that we're all making New Year's resolutions be kind of what we talked about at the very beginning. It's not, today's the day I'm going to turn my life around, because you should have done that yesterday.
Yeah.
But let today be the day that says this is the step on the path to in the direction I want to go in, and then start walking in that direction.
Yeah. I don't think it's hard. I don't think the hardest part is making the decision to do something. I think it's following through with that decision. And like Valerie said up in the comments, being consistent with it. Consistency is the only thing that's going to create the habit. So, yeah.
Yeah. But consistency is also something that has to be given some grace as well. There's going to be look, I remember.
He's like hitting hard with this. Live it up. It's the holidays.
No, but hear me out. Do you remember? It wasn't long ago that you and I both got rocked with the cold, and I remember. Yeah, I know you're still fighting it, but I remember
3 weeks.
I remember you were very frustrated for a while that like we couldn't go walking, and neither one of us was in a condition to be keeping up with our normal exercise routine. But I pointed out to you, I'm like, but over. Okay, so there's a theory that basically says on a long enough timeline, anything is inevitable. You know what I'm saying? Like if you run this cycle of today's a day enough times, then the impossible becomes possible because there's been so many permutations of it. The tiniest chance becomes inevitable. So my way of looking at our exercise journey is on a long enough timeline, if we continue this, then the week we took off for the cold, the 2 weeks we took off for Christmas, the whatever, it's not going to matter because on a long enough timeline, we'll get to our goal. Mm-hmm. So it's not about, oh, I failed because I took a week or two off for Christmas. It's about, I'm going to see this through to the end of my life. And over that long of a timeline, we're going to succeed.
Yeah. So
I don't know, that gets into whole another hour-long discussion about like mentality and how you emotionally compartmentalize things, but that's my perspective. Mm-hmm. But I just say that, like, yeah, I hope everybody gets what they deserve. But what you deserve is based on the work you do. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people get it in their heads that, like, I deserve this thing that I didn't work for. And then my answer is, if you didn't work for it, you don't deserve it.
Yeah. Agreed.
And don't let that be a downer, guys. That just means you got work to do.
Everybody does.
Everybody has work to do, but most people will cry about sitting on the bench rather than get out on the field.
True. Do we have any announcements?
Just the usual ones. I mean, Prepper Camp, today is the last day for tickets at this rate. On January 1st, they will go up. I don't know how much. It's usually like $10 or $15 a ticket. If you haven't gotten them in the last 3 months with us screaming ever since Thanksgiving, get them. I don't know what to tell you. You just like to wait till the last minute. Mm-hmm. Women Who Prep Conference.
Yeah, I got to get on that. The Women Who Prep Conference. What was going on with my hair? Is in April, and I will be
talking about things.
Be a part of it, but yeah, my brain went doo-doo-doo. I will be talking about prepping with kids and how to incorporate your children into the whole prepping lifestyle. And that, again, that's in April. It's an online event. You do have to purchase tickets for it. And this week coming up, so I still have a week off from work. That's going to be my focus. So if you follow me on Instagram, there's going to be some affiliated links on there that will actually turn some revenue for me a little bit. So if you are interested in the prepping lifestyle and all the different things that go with it, or even just some of the things, not all of them, there's going to be tons and tons of speakers. There's going to be prizes and all that stuff. And I think we're even doing a live Q&A, so you can be a part of that. So you can ask us questions and we'll answer them in real time. But anyway, so that's the Women Who Prep Conference, and on Instagram, you can follow them on Instagram. The name of the Instagram page is Women Who Prep. And again, I'm also, always want to highlight Allison in this. She's the one who's bringing this new conference to this whole stage of prepping lifestyle and everything. And she runs her page, which is This Prepared Life. And it's an amazing, where she is in her preps, it's just like mind-blowing. And I think it's really awesome. So there's that. So Prepper Camp, Women Who Prep Conference, and I don't know what else. I think that is probably it.
It is, but today is December 31st. Tomorrow is the start of a new year. I would just tell everybody, take a minute, turn everything off, think about what direction you want to go in and what is the first step down that path, and that is your New Year's resolution. Mm-hmm. And then, whether you write it down or tell your best friend or do whatever, install a little bit of accountability and go for it.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Thank y'all for joining us today. It was weird, and I apologize for that. It's always weird with me and Phil anyway. But anyway, I got here right on time. Right on time. Anyway, I hope y'all have a great rest of your day and have a happy New Year's Eve and all that fun stuff. Even if it means that New Year's Eve is going to be at 9 o'clock on your couch in your PJs, that's cool. We're going to go watch our neighbor down the street blow up his children's inheritance that he does every year. We do not even buy fireworks because his display is so magnificent every single New Year's Eve. So that is it. And Happy New Year. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all, folks.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Thanks for joining us. Bye.